My name's Aaron. This is Christina.
Hello.
We are from Podcast Services Australia, and it's our Tuesday Tip Day. Today we're going to be talking about redeveloping your content to the podcast medium, and also how you can redevelop the podcast that you produce into other forms.
Firstly, what do you mean by redevelop?
Well, it's about taking existing content and turning it into something else that's usable on maybe a social media platform or...
Well, the reason why we do this, or social media platform or your blog or anywhere else that can get distributed in a different medium. And the reason why we might want to redevelop our content is because it reduces the amount of work we have, but then increases the reach. So let's say you create one podcast, like you do one podcast interview, you can then use that content for many other different platforms and mediums. So we'll give you some examples. So let's say that you create an audio recording of a podcast. You've got all that there. One way you can redevelop it is to get it transcribed. And then you've got a written version of that podcast. You could then take sections of that transcription, turn it into a blog post or add it into a book or create tweets from it. So you can create all this other micro content from it as well. You can take, let's say, the blog posts that you've written for that podcast, so the show notes, you can put them onto LinkedIn as LinkedIn articles. I've been doing that for my podcast, so you can check out my articles to give you an idea of what that looks like.
And something else that Christina does a lot of presentations. She talks to a lot of groups, and sometimes she'll wear a little mic here, do the recording, and use that as bonus episodes for her podcast.
Yes. So anytime that you have a speaking engagement or you run a workshop, you could record that and use that as a podcast as well. Something you could do is I've Facebook Lived my podcast interviews before, so that's creating some extra video content for my community on Facebook. And something else, which is really easy to do, is to take your recorded episode and as audio only, turn it into a video by putting a static image over the top. And then you've got video content for YouTube, because there's a whole other audience on YouTube who's there waiting for your content.
YouTube is second biggest search directory.
Second biggest search engine.
You know, so you're on Apple, you're on Google, you may as well be on YouTube as well.
Yep. So as you can see, there are many different ways you can take that one piece of content that you've created and turn it into many different types of content. So it's about getting creative and having some fun with it and going, what could we do with this? And that way, all your effort that goes into making a podcast isn't wasted, because you get so much more other content and value from it as well.
And people are looking for content in different areas. Some people love to read. Some people love podcasting. Some people like videos. Some people just use YouTube as the place where they find content. Cover all your bases and, you'll be building your community in no time.
Love it. We hope you've enjoyed this Tuesday tip, and we will see you next week.